Good evening, friends. It is time for... Oh, that was just a close-up of you.
Hey there, chap.
Team SoloMid versus Enemy Esports is our next matchup here. This one... David versus Goliath, my friend.
A little bit. I definitely like that more than I don't. That said, Team SoloMid has been on a little bit of a... They're coming closer to David.
Ish.
Ish.
I think they're just showing that they're human.
That's very fair to say.
Before they were on this like pedestal where no one could look at them. Yeah. And even Cloud9 at the time, like we were like, oh, COG Prime, you can't compete with COG Red. And now it's, well, everyone seems to, the top three in North America seem to be able to compete.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin and I were talking about that during the pregame show about how Team SoloMid has done a lot of good things, and lately they've been a little slipping. But we'll see how they're going because it's a new split, and everybody's on the even keel right now. So it's only week 2, 5 more weeks, so a lot of Smite to be played.
Well, if you guys love Smite, well, you better get some apparel of Smite here, as the new Smite store is coming June 1st. There's hundreds of designs. It is smite.clothing. June 1st.
June 1st.
June 1st be with you.
Is that after the 30/12th?
I guess. Oh, man, I'm the worst. I am just the worst. All right, so anyways. TSM, Enemy Esports, before we get into picks and bans.
All right, shoot.
Does Enemy Esports have any chance?
Enemy Esports definitely has a chance. I think it has a lot to do with Awesome to the Max, their solo laner. Okay. You take a look at Team SoloMid. Divios, as you said, has sort of shown the world that he's a little bit human. Yeah. And meanwhile, Awesome to the Max is showing the world that he's a little bit more than that. So Awesome to the Max has a lot to prove on the upswing, and Divios has a lot to prove on the downswing. So I think the solo lane is going to be key to this matchup. Does Team SoloMid have the edge? Yes. Can Enemy Esports take one? I think after seeing upcoming stars take one off of Trig, anything's possible. So, yeah, they do have a chance.
Well, picks and bans, boys and girls. Let's see what's going to happen here. Enemy Esports will elect to take the order side. All right. Team SoloMid is on the Chaos side, which, no shocker at all, Divios loves this counter pick option at the end. And, well, you cater to Divios.
It definitely gives you a lot of leeway and room. And these days, so many picks, Scott, are just so ambiguous. It used to be, well... there was 1 or 2 flex picks. Now, your hunters can go in virtually any role except for the jungle. Yeah.
Well, maybe on her.
Stop.
Or Uller.
Just stop.
Well, you get the stun with them, right? Like, the idea's there.
I mean, to entertain the thought process, they just scale a little bit too late into the end game. It might work in ranked, but here in the SPL, it's all about the team comp, and that's exactly what the bottom of your screen is thinking Team SoloMid as they lock in Athena.
Yep, that's going to go to Matty Pocket here. Neith and Geb, well, you picked up for TSM now. TSM, well, we've seen Neith mids. Neith solos are definitely a thing, but, you know, with Neith and the Geb, we have no idea where she's going with TSM.
That's that ambiguity we were talking about. Just in the past 3 games, we've seen Neith go mid with Lazes. We've seen Neith in the solo lane for a Titan, and here Team SoloMid might play her in the hunter role. That said, they are very apt to play mages in that hunter role. Rama and Poseidon picked up on the other side for Enemy Esports.
This has been a perfect draft so far for Enemy Esports, minus the fact that they gave away the Serqet. They're still okay with that. I mean, the Poseidon with Athena, that's guaranteed Krakens. That's guaranteed very strong presence at mid Harpies. So to kind of battle that, Team SoloMid really needs to kind of figure out who they want in the mid.
Right, and Serqet will still be very, very powerful. I'm not going to say this as a counter pick, Scott, but Poseidon and Athena, the taunt and the cripple from the whirlpool will both impact Serqet's ability to do what she wants. Like I said, not a hard counter per se, but will definitely be something that the Serqet player for TSM has to think about going into this.
TSM will grab Medusa as well.
Ooh.
Now, this might be, you know, Medusa is strong early, so is Neith. We could see either of these go into the mid. Or either go in... there's no way Divios is playing a hunter. Let's just go ahead and... that is just not his play style at all. And now, as Ymir gets picked up here, they're looking for one more... they don't need a jungler now. They just need a solo laner, and it's going to be the Bakasura. You haven't seen it. He's really fallen out of favor recently.
I mean, it's been one of those things where he's still there. People just want the range of the hunter that we've seen. So as we take a look on the blue side for Enemy Esports, very standard setup. You're going to see Poseidon in the middle lane with Rama and Athena in the long lane. and Ymir in the jungle with Bakasura in the soul lane, most likely. You might see the Ymir and the Athena swap positions, but essentially what this team is looking for, they have a nice mid to late game. Poseidon, Kraken's, Bakasura, Ram will all do favorably for them in the end game.
Well, I'm expecting a Sobek here coming out of Divios.
Okay.
That's right. What I got to think. Oh, no. The Fat Loki, a.k.a. Cabrakane. Now, this is one of those gods. So, Divios, by the way, I know you're listening back to this, but one, screw you for tweeting the picture of me being 15. I hate you. I really don't like you, but I love you at the same time. But he's always wanted to play Cabrakane.
Right.
He's like, dude, he's so close to being there. And with the buffs, every time, he was getting those minor buffs every time, and he was like, I might be able to bring him out. I might be able to, and he just never would. He was too afraid of it, but it'll be very, very fun to watch him bring this god he's been hyping up to me for so long into the solo lane.
Very interesting comp that TSM has. Serqet, definitely more of a later game individual. Once that Deathbringer comes online, Deathbane is going to be incredible. A lot of craziness going on there. And then Medusa, definitely an early to mid game powerhouse. She gets a lot of poke off in the early game, and that's what we'll see Snoopy play. So it is going to be Boosh with that Neith mid, and I'll tell you exactly why I anticipated this. The ultimate allows Neith to impact lanes without moving at all. So it's sort of a pseudo-rotation, and people always bring up, well, Neith works well with Bastet because the stun does it. Everyone likes a stun in their lane.
Yeah, she's great. And her clear. I mean, her clear is kind of in parity with most of the mages.
It is, yeah.
That'll definitely kind of help her out. But really, for me, enemy esports, I'm looking at one thing here, right?
Shoot.
Awesome to the max. Just get the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Cabrakane is so bad from behind. He's just bad. So awesome to the max, and Bakasura's so good ahead. So that's really my 7-minute kind of watch.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot coming out of this solo lane. Cabrakane, as you mentioned, he's rough from behind because his kit sort of works against itself. There's a lot of DR, diminishing returns, that go basically subsequent crowd control. Are going to hurt each other. If you stun somebody and then stun them again, the second stun isn't going to last as long as you anticipate, and the entirety of Cabrakan's kit will crowd control you, with the exception of the ultimate. So that's something he's going to want to watch out for and use that intelligently, because as you said, from behind, you'll really notice the DR.
Man. TSM started at the back camps, making sure they're not going to lose that one, and now they have the double hand as well, so they'll lose a little bit of this wave, actually probably a good chunk of it, but they will have level 2 regardless and still be okay. They're going to lose, looks like they'll lose 3 creeps to the tower.
Usually you see that play come out with a jungler and a solo lane that have a lot of clear.
Yeah.
Serqet and Cabrakane, moderate clear, definitely not on the low end of things, but usually you see that out of swifter clear. That said, one of the bigger things, Soul Shiner is going to rotate very, very early out of that soul lane. He's just going to pick up a wave of experience from mid and immediately head to the back camp. So that'll leave Awesome to the max to deal with the 2v1 by himself as Bakasura, which is a little tough, but looking like getting the back camps no problem.
Jerby actually able to tag those up and get him some of that XP, as Gars will now finally hit that rotation at around 80 seconds, and now Soul Shiner is looking for it. He's got the blink online. You can see what he's setting up for. Blink comes in, freeze hits as well. They're dumping everything into Ionic, and Ionic will fall. First blood goes to enemy esports. They're starting off early, and they are gotta be happy about that.
That is the quick rotation there, just doing what it's supposed to. Immediately gets out of the soul lane, says hi to mid, and then continues, and then shows up in the dual lane way before TSM would actually anticipate it. Did they mention in comms? Almost undoubtedly. We can't hear them, but there's no way they didn't. That said, it's still surprising to see the jungler before 2 minutes in your dual lane.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, dual lane's one of those lanes you just don't touch.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't like you. But as we swing in here, Bakasura on the Cabrakane, he does do true damage here with Butcher Blades.
That'll be a big deal.
It's, we say it time and time again, but Bakasura really needs a kill at level 5 or level 9, or else we accept him as behind, but I don't know if that's going to be the case versus Cabrakane.
See, Cabrakane is basically, he's called a guardian. Sort of like Freya, where you have to sort of forget she's a mage and think of her as an assassin. Do the same thing with Cabrakane and think of him as a warrior. He's going to be that frontline presence, but he's going to bring a lot of damage. You heard Scott call him Fat Loki before. It's because of the burst. The combination of the 2-in-1 is going to chunk HP, and also the max, if he's not careful, can be caught off guard and smacked.
Well, the madness will hit Soul Shiner as well. He's in the last breath, and just like that, Gars is on the board. Ionic hits that rotation. He's going to trap Jerby in here as well, but they don't really have any damage. Divios just happy to throw out the Nerd Rage.
That's an ideal situation for that for that Cabrakane.
Right.
Gets him completely trapped. Unfortunately, just not enough follow-up right there. With that said, look to see Divios take that as a win and move on in the game and try that play again with more teammates around him.
Oh, he needs the peel as well. Awesome to the max now. He's going to get mezzed out here as now Divios, he's out of mana, so he's just going to be happy to keep Gars alive.
One of the cool things right there that was just showcased is that also to the max on Bakasura doesn't have a way to stop Tremors. One of the biggest things about Cabrakane is how easily Tremors is stopped. Any sort of CC and that 3 will stop ground pounding. Bakasura can't do that. There's no stun, there's no crowd control on him. So until we see a Fist of the Gods, and that's an if, he won't have a way to stop Tremors.
Divios actually just stopped the back as well. So now Ymir has rotated over into that lane, which is preventing Bakasura from going back to buy really anything here. He's only got a death toll, so Divios is happy to keep him around as long as possible, but probably not going to be the case. VDM here, just farming up. He will be going into the Dev Gloves build. Across the way, Medusa will be going Heartseeker.
Vicium is actually the newer player on Enemy Esports. We saw a little bit of a shakeup with different Hunters Bronx Bombers. Recently left to go ahead and join Denial, which left a space open for Enemy Esports. So this lane of Matty Puck and Vicium is actually new to the team as a whole. Matty just being on the team for about 3 weeks, 1 week of relegation, and this is our 2nd week of SPL. And Vicium, this is his 1st week on the team, so a lot of untested waters for Enemy Esports in that long lane.
Damn, man. You just watched 4 people roll into the jungle of Enemy Esports to steal a blue buff. My God.
A lot of attention to the buffs, that's for sure. We even saw a 4-man grouping of TSM to get their own buffs. So a lot of people just being careful, wanting to make sure that they have their buffs and everything. And as we said, attention to the jungle. There's a sentry ward here by mid camps from Team SoloMid.
Yep. Trying to win the vision battle here. They know how important the 6-minute and 15-second harpies are. Keep in mind, the harpies are dynamic. It's not a static timer, so 3 minutes from the time you get them. And now Divios still just going to go ahead and strafe this one out. He's got a level advantage. Snoopy going forward. Neith Arrow is going to come in as well. VDM. Look at that Neith Arrow just waiting, right? He's going to hit, and it's just going to catch him, and down he goes. Gar's able to get another kill. That's going to make him 2-0.
I mean, that situation was sort of like the Aegis, but hold that thought as we have 2 members coming in. There's the blink. Perfectly ultimate comes out from Degars. Is it enough to avoid it? No, it's not. Matty Pocket will get credit for that one as he comes crashing down with Defender of Olympus. Enemy Esports is trying to get away, but TSM won't let them, and Jeremy falls down. He'll pay for that rotation from mid.
Matty Pocket tried to do everything he could. He helped his team get a kill here. Now they find themselves down 1, but the big thing is they were able to lock down the Serqet. I mean, the Whirlpool, the Cripple, stopping him from doing anything, and Divios trying to get aggressive. You might see him go in on Awesome to the max here. He's relatively low, and it's not going to be the case. Taunt comes out on Snoopy. Wall's going to follow up as well. Snoopy, rest in pieces, my friend.
Yeah, that definitely was... a lot of damage coming out from Enemy Esports. One thing that I really liked that unfortunately didn't work for Team SoloMid, as soon as Gars heard the blink or saw the Ymir come in, he ulted, knowing that he wouldn't be frozen. It took him a little bit out of the crack, so unfortunately it wasn't enough, but it was a great thought process.
Divios makes Awesome to the max pay for trying to stop his back. He goes, hey, yeah, walk into my stun, and oh, yeah, by the way, now you have the exact same amount of health as me. I'll eat that all day. And this is actually really smart for him to stick around because his teleport's going to be up in 40 seconds. Neith Arrow's coming in, and finally it's going to hit Divios. Oh, just off the mark.
One of the big difference here, though, Awesome Max versus Divios, or rather Bakasura versus Cabrakane, Baka can eat minion and heal. Cabrakane doesn't have that, so it was definitely a win for Divios as Soul Shiner's freeze misses off of the blink. That would have been a kill, but unfortunately just an inch too short.
Yep, Kraken's going to be in the middle. Jerby trying to buy himself some time. Beads come out as well. Matty Pocket did a great job at peeling. BDM's going to be there. Gar's able to clean him up, though, with the poison, and now he will live as he dodges the final shot. So slippery is the Gars, playing on a 2100 DPI at 41 cents in game.
Wow.
How he controls that is beyond me.
2100 DPI.
Yeah.
I play at 1600. What I'm curious is Barracuda previously held the record for highest DPI. I want to check in with Barracuda Hunter for Cloud9 and see if he's higher than 21.
I don't know why you even do it, but whatever. Garz is really good at it.
Yeah.
I recommend it to no one, but he is a baller.
It's whatever you're comfortable with.
Yep. Snoopy now has a 2-level advantage. He's 1-1-1. Taking a look at the charts here. Almost 3,000 experience in favor of Team SoloMid. The difference between the two is that Team SoloMid has taken everything they possibly can of the jungle of enemy esports. Enemy has gotten the kills. They haven't really had the follow-up in the camps.
Yeah, that gold spike is really interesting. That's the first blood, and then coming right back around to see Team SoloMid now 8 minutes in, or almost 9 minutes in, winning the kills 4-3. TSM is sniffing out this enemy jungle. Divios is sort of poking around here, but what they don't know is that you also have Garz and Ionic here. Also, the Max will hog and use Eat Minion, and that will not secure his blue buff. That's rough.
Divios, you can just hear him giggling from miles away. Boosh now trying to boss out Maddie Pocket, as now the speed buff will luckily go to the hands of Soulshiner. In comes the blink. Cataclysm follows up. Jerby's just in a nightmare as Soulshiner is going to get hit with Last Breath, run straight into the Boosh, and that is calculation from Team SoloMid.
Positioning. 100,000% positioning as we see a scuffle in the solo lane. Jerby came down. I wish I could draw on the screen. Jerby came down as Garz picks up that kill on Austin the Max. Really nowhere for him to go. Jerby came down from the mid lane into his own speed buff right there. And what happened was Team SoloMid saw that. They cut him off, preventing the easy way back in the mid lane. As you said, they bullied Maddie Pocket, and because of that positioning, it allowed both of those members to die. The eventual kill in solo and the Gold Fury, but it was stolen by Maddie.
And man, bangarang here. Divios barely missing that. He's going to follow it up. He's forced out the beads as well, and that's only level 1 beads, so Vidium now forced to ult defensively. He's not going to live on this, and Divios is going to ensure that the body blocks are real, and he gets himself a kill here with the cases. And now Kraken comes in as well. Divios Tremors following up. Jerby goes down. Soulshiner in the middle. Ionic just going to sit here and battle him out, and he is able to get through the wall, but does he have the follow-up to make it out alive? The answer is blink.
Yeah, as soon as he walked into that little cubby, he kind of knew he was waiting for the blink. Depends on what rank his blink is before we could tell how many seconds he has to be out of combat.
Got greater blink?
Yeah, so that allows him, I think it's just 3 seconds you have to be out of combat in order to be able to blink over that wall. So good decision-making coming out from Ymir, but late rotation in general by Jerby and the guys from Enemy Esports. That, again, they're giving up kills, but then they're giving up extra kills by trying to provide triage, and it's just not working out.
Yep. Gold Fury taken by Team SoloMid here adds to their lead as the experience now is 11,000 damn near and climbing.
Oh, Maddie didn't steal that.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah. I was just going to brush it under the rug, buddy. Divios leading the way in player damage. Now, when Cabrakane is ahead, you're going to see him go right into the breastplate. After that, E-Staff is probably next in line. You build him very similar to Sobek, but you're going to just watch how hard he hits. And to contain him is even going to be harder. I mean, it's really going to come down to the Athena.
Yeah, as we said earlier, he really is the magical warrior, Scott. He's going to be looking to provide frontline damage. Think of him doing sort of the role that a solo Guan Yu would be doing, where he can provide some help for his team with a good ultimate or a good stun, but he's really looking to slap people around.
Yep. Soulshiner going to go ahead and try to back here. Ionic's going to try to stop this from happening. And they force the blink out as well. The stun's going to be there as well. The wall hits, and now Soulshiner trying to respond with an ult of his own. He gets the mitigation from the Athena, and now Snoopy's still doing everything he can. The Kraken's going to hit.
Wow.
Stone Shield will be there as well. And Jerby will at least prevent this fight from happening, as now Divios manages to stay alive as the final hit will hit. But not kill. And Snoopy's able to get one Cataclysm as well. Last breath. And that is a wipe.
Snoopy with the triple kill. And Team SoloMid wins another engagement based off of pure positioning. Also, Max is going to get a tower out of that.
Which is good.
But unfortunately, that's a tier 1. So it's 500 gold for Also the Max. Worth 4 deaths? I don't think so. But again, Team SoloMid wins that completely off positioning. I loved how Divios sat a blink's worth of distance away. So as soon as Ymir would blink the way they saw it last time, not this time. Yep. You're getting stunned out, and then the rest of your team comes. Great ultimate from Jerby. But again, not enough.
Nope, not even close. And now the real story here is you have a Medusa who's 5-1-4.
Right.
And she's $2,000 ahead of the Rama, who is a late game hyper carry. Who from enemy esports is really going to slow this down to the point to where Rama can really make an impact?
Yeah, I mean, it's really now it's up to Jerby.
He stole that too.
Yeah, right now it's up to Poseidon and Matty Pocket really to really dictate the stall of this game. 7,000 gold in the lead as Team SoloMid in only 13.5 minutes, so there's a lot of bleeding, and I'm giving Jerby and Matty a tall order to stop this bleeding right now, but if anybody's going to do it, it has to be them, because everybody else has to wait to come online.
Oof. He hurts so good. VDM trying to bully Ionic out of this one here. As now you can see Jerby has rotated. They're trying to dump a lot into the Cabrakane, who's already gone. Matty Pocket, he's going to pay with his life for getting caught out there, and TSM makes quick work of them. The former coach here, Jerby, now getting caught as well. The Whirlpool will be at his feet. Last breath's going to hit him as well, thrown right back into the Boosh. Ooh. And now Boosh is going to clean that one up, turns around, sees Awesome to the max. Regurgitate trying to help, but not enough. The wall will be enough, however, as Ionic will just go ahead and roll on through. They got him pinned. And now it is just the hunt. And a little tomfoolery there from Soulshiner, but Ionic's going to be there. He's going to get frozen out. He might actually die. Nope, Stone Shield's going to keep him alive. Turns around, knocks him up, and now he will fall. As TSM, they just look so dominant in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Enemy Esports definitely one of the teams on the lower end of the spectrum in North America. They're sitting down tied 0-2 with some other teams right now. Team SoloMid, they're probably not in the same conversation as Enemy Esports. So we were talking about how TSM really needs something to wake them up because they didn't do too well at LAN. They came in second place, not the first that they wanted. So they definitely need a little bit of a catalyst similar to what Trig needed. Both Trig and Upcoming Stars needed a win, and, well, both of them got them. Team SoloMid looking for the win against Enemy Esports here in the two-game split. Looking, well, is there another word for very, very good, Scott? They're up 15 kills.
Magnificent. Fantastic.
Outstanding.
Superb. Gold Fury going to go ahead and get started up here. There's only been one taken so far. It went to the hands of Team SoloMid. And
where's the vision?
There's nothing.
Where's the vision? Enemy Esports doesn't even know this is happening. Ymir's going to walk up. Does he have a Hog 3? Absolutely not. He has a Hog 1. He'll ult to scare everybody, but Team SoloMid destroys the Gold Fury. Just poor placement.
Yep. 15 minutes and 50 seconds here. 6 times the kills for Team SoloMid here. As now Matty Pocket, he's going to get caught again. And now down he goes. The CC chain just too much for them. Kraken right on the mark. Divios might pay with his life here. Jerby's been on point with these ultimates, but they haven't been able to follow it up. Snoopy now, he's uncontested here. He's just going to be able to shred through as Boosh comes in to clean some up himself. And now you can see the strength of the 2-hunter meta. And now Jerby still trying to stay alive here. You can see the port come in. Divios now, he's joining the fight as well. VDM down he goes. Deicide.
Team SoloMid looks great.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I have been very critical of Team SoloMid lately, just saying that, well, there's the F6.
That's a surrender, bro.
Wow.
This is a two-game set.
Well-deserved one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very critical of Team SoloMid, talking about how they don't seem to be as dominant as they used to be, and I mean, I've said a lot of things. Sorry. This last game definitely shows the other side of the coin. Team SoloMid looking extremely strong against Enemy in Game 1.
To say the least. They also have a new addition as a coach. They have Jigs from Cognitive Gaming. But first, we're going to take a look at this First Blood here as we bring up that replay. It is Soulshiner. Wow. He got started early on, but, I mean, they just didn't follow it up.
Yeah, Soulshiner has been a very, very good part of many, many teams, and you know he still played well. He still played well in Game 1, and I expect him to sort of make the plays that count. We said his name a lot, for better or for worse, but he needs a little bit more help from his team. He needs to do things for himself as well. So we'll see how he worked out in the jungle as we take a look at jungle control.
Yeah, I mean TSM. We've known about their strategy since preseason 2, right? It's mid-harpies. Mid-harpy fight. Everything mid-harpy. Mid-harpies. Hand of the gods for everyone, right? Like, I mean, they really just lock it down the best way they can, and they always draft team comps around it. Now, with the 200 meta, I mean, it just really plays into what Divios is forced into playing now, which is Guardians.
Sure.
Right? I mean, that's really it. He used to run around with Warriors and Mages, but it's just not a thing anymore for him. So, what better thing for him than to have more protection on their side and give him another hunter? Or Guardian, rather.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I kind of view the Cabrakane pick as, again, Divios pushing against that Guardian meta. So, because we've seen him play the Sobek, but not really into it. He plays Hades, which is a Guardian, but more of a mage.
Exactly.
You know, we've seen the Cabrakane, which is a Guardian, but more of a warrior. So, I don't know. It really depends for him.
Yep. Well, we're going to go ahead and look at the jungle control here, boys. And enemy Esports only controlled 32%. Team SoloMid 68%, but look at those mid-harpies. Yep. It's not a lie, ladies and gentlemen. 16 for 16. This is a 16-minute game. Like, Team SoloMid just knows exactly what it takes. I mean, there's so much damn experience for those mid-harpies that you get the first two sets. I mean, the other enemy team's just like, oh, well, I guess. Gold Fury now. And if you don't get the Gold Fury, it's curtains.
This was just raw dominance coming out from Team SoloMid. Enemies comp on paper should have given them the mid camps. You've got a Poseidon Kraken with an Athena taunt, but Team SoloMid just a little bit too strong for whatever reason, wound up taking out the two mid camps.
Well, it's not every day we see this, but Ionic, a support player, is the player of the game. 2-1 in 18. Blink Cataclysms come in. Ionic. Well, if there's someone to fear with the Gab, it's definitely him. Look at these body blocks. I mean, he's just always in a position to where he can just guarantee his teammates kills. And this kid, I mean, he's like 16, 17. He has such a huge career ahead of him.
Ionic is a player that... there was a warrior meta a while ago. You were talking about Divios sort of playing the hand he's dealt. And you know, I sort of came back at you saying, like, Divios just sort of plays what Divios plays. Ionic is the same guy. He plays Guardians, and that's what he does. When the warrior meta came, guess what Ionic played? Yep. Guardians. He kept it going. So when the Guardian meta came back and Guardians were back in the support role, he feels right at home. Along with, honestly, Matty Pocket's similar situation, but Ionic on the top side of things this time around, landing the Geb shields excellently and setting up with those Blink Cataclysms.
The best is watching him stream. When you watch Ionic stream, he's just... Right? You're like, how is this guy doing so good, right? Like, normally I like the people who are like locked in, right? Like, Lasses is like this, right? But like, Ionic's just... yeah.
Jeff's the same way. It's a support thing.
Don't get it.
It's a support thing.
That should be the high stress spot. Maybe that's why they succeed.
You have to be very zen if you want to be able to get that support role, because you realize you're going to get all the blame and none of the praise. So that's the way you got to think about it as we head into picks and bans right now.